I'm sure it comes to the surprise of absolutely no one that the best item sets in the Elder Scrolls Online are found in some of the DLC. Despite this, though, I don't want anyone to ever feel like just because you don't have access to paid DLC that you can't be an effective healer. So my name's Doc, your host for all things healing, and allow me to take a second of your time to show a little love to anyone who may not be able to access DLC for whatever reason, and tell you guys about a few great sets that are both available to all players and pretty easy to get your hands on. Let's get into this. Before we begin, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick is that what exactly the base game isn't quite as obvious as it used to be. ZOS has added some DLC for free, made some old DLC free, and has also made some things temporarily free. So I could be wrong, but I believe the base game that is available to all players, including all the free DLC, is all the Alliance Zones, Cold Harbor, Craglorn, Cyrodiil, the Imperial City, and Morrowind. If I missed something, I do sincerely apologize, but I hope I do a good job nonetheless. So, we'll start, as we usually do, by talking about our 5-piece sets. Starting off our list, we have Spell Power Cure. That's right, arguably the best healing set in the entire game is completely free via the Imperial City. You can find this bad boy in the White Gold Tower dungeon, and upon overhealing an ally, this set will grant them Major Courage for 5 seconds, increasing their weapon and spell damage. I have covered this set at length before, and it is easily one of the most valuable healing sets in the game. If you ignore the entire rest of this video and do nothing else, at least go pick up Spell Power Cure, because your party will thank you. Up next, we have Powerful Assault. Found in the Imperial City or on Guild Traders, this set will grant you and your allies a damage buff when you cast a skill from the Assault line. While this is more commonly seen on tanks, a healer can absolutely still make use of this. And while it may be a bit costly to purchase on Guild Traders, it's still a fantastic set nonetheless, and one that I've talked about on the channel a bit. And actually, even beyond Powerful Assault, there are many great sets you can find in Cyrodiil or the Imperial City, but Powerful Assault stands out since it is very commonly used in both PvE and PvP. And for our third and last 5-piece set, we have Master Architect, the only trial set on this list. Found in the Halls of Fabrication trial, this set will grant Major Slayer, which will increase all damage done to group content monsters to up to 6 allies after casting your ultimate. It's arguably the best in slot backbar set for dungeon healing, as the Slayer uptime you can get with this thing is pretty nuts. I completely understand tackling a trial may be daunting for new players, especially if you are maybe just now finding out that you can actually access the Halls of Fabrication trial, and if you don't have access to all that DLC gear that you would need to totally feel confident in your build. However, I promise that you are more ready than you think you are, and this set is a good one to farm for because Halls of Fabrication is a really fun trial, and I highly recommend giving it a try even if you don't feel totally confident. So that was it for our 5-piece sets. Some pretty familiar contenders there. If you've been around the channel for a little bit, all those probably sound pretty familiar. But next, we will move on to our monster sets. Or I guess I should say set, since there's really only one monster set worth farming for in the base game, and that set is Sentinel. I'm just going to call it Sentinel. I don't know how to pronounce that name. Found in Vet Darkshade Caverns 1, this set will summon a Dwarven Spider every 15 seconds when you heal someone, and while that spider is active, it will heal and restore resources to all allies standing in its 5-meter radius. I think many healers remember this set very fondly, as it was the first monster set a lot of us used, myself included. Even then, this is without a doubt the best base game healing monster set you can find in the game. Sure, maybe it's outclassed by something like Symphony of Blades, but that does not mean that this is a bad set. Just because Symphony of Blades is a bit better does not mean that this is not a great support tool, because it is, and your tanks will thank you for running it. Finally, I'd like to go over our arena weapon. I say weapon since, like our monster set, there's really only one that we care about in the base game. If you've been around the channel, you know this weapon good and well. For our last item to talk about, we have the Master's Perfected Restoration Staff, otherwise known as Grand Rejuvenation. And this item can be found from the Dragonstar Arena in Craglorn. When casting either morph of the Grand Healing skill, the initial hit will grant allies standing in its radius magicka and stamina. It's a staple of the healer meta, being frequently used by the best healers in both dungeons and trials. You can absolutely never go wrong with having this. Now, if you're wondering what sorts of traits and enchantments you should be running, which class or skills you should use, or anything else like that, I'll leave a link in the description below with an old video of mine covering all of those things and more. Also, I know that there are plenty of other sets that I didn't mention that would be great for healers, because remember that you can buy overland, crafted, and PvP sets from guild traders even if you don't have access to that DLC. I wanted to place my focus, though, on more dungeon and trial sets, as I tend to find that those are a bit better on average, and honestly, with the few that we talked about today, you can get access to some of the best healing sets in the game just through the base game. Sure, maybe you're not going to have access to like Rojo or something like that, but you get some pretty good sets. Of course, though, please make sure to tell me what sorts of sets you enjoy using that don't require any DLC. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. Remember to check out the link in the description to follow me on stuff and join my Discord server. Before we head out, I also want to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters Dylan Stewart and Sharni Lee, as well as my YouTube members Austin Anderson and Durgy. Thank you guys for your continued support, and I cannot thank you enough. I think all I've got left to say is that I've been Doc. Take care of yourselves, be good to others. Don't forget to check out that build video in the description, and I will catch y'all in the next one.